Hello everyone, it's James from Keeping It Anime, and today we'll be going over episode 5 of the We Never Learn anime series, entitled A Genius in the Forest Straits 4X. Now for the first half of this episode, that title rings true. The main focus of the episode was solely based on Rizu Ogata and her feelings towards Yuiga. And overall this episode did a very good job in showcasing that exactly. So it turns out that the class are up in the mountains to study, and Fumino states that Rizu Ogata is staring at our main protagonist a little more than usual. This sparks an interest as to why the mathematical genius is doing this. She doesn't understand what feelings are prompting her to do this, so she's getting a little bit frustrated. Especially after we have some interactions between Yuiga and Tomoko, where it kind of stirs a bit of jealousy and a bit of embarrassment from Rizu, as she's basically thinking that she could help Yuiga, but if she does, Fumino's going to catch up on it and it's going to complicate things a bit more for her. Now after this, she starts acting a little bit hostile towards Yuiga before running off into the forest. Now, this actually leads to a very good thing for her character, as we know she's not someone who's good at understanding human emotions, and the anime does well in showing this. It does a fantastic job of showing this, especially with her character, because yes, she doesn't understand them, but she doesn't really know how to express them, because she doesn't know how to understand. And she actually thinks that she's done something bad to Yuiga. She feels upset, which is further development to state that she actually does care and she's starting to understand some emotion on some level. So she remembers that Yuiga loves this plant that he was unable to pick at the start of the episode. So she starts picking loads of that in order to kind of make up for it and to say, I'm sorry. So it's a way of apologizing to Yuiga for the way she acted. Now, this was actually a really good thing for her character as well, like I said, because it's showing that emotion again. Now, Sekijo comes in and tells us that we don't have any phones on the students at the moment, and it starts pouring it down with rain. And Rizu Ogata hasn't returned yet, because while she was picking those plants, she lost track of where she was and is now lost in the forest. So this prompts Yuiga to go and look for her. Now, we can tell by the looks and expressions and the way it's drawn / animated in this episode that Rizu Ogata has actually been looking around and searching for a long time. Because of the way that her clothes are, she's kind of dirty, the rain's obviously gotten to her, she's damp. But what makes this scene a lot better and a lot more impactful in my opinion is when Yuiga finds Rizu. He's the exact same way. So it shows that he cares enough for her that he's gone out to find her. Like, obviously they're friends and he's their tutor and his recommendation relies upon it. But the fact that if he didn't really care too much about his friend Rizu Ogata as much, he wouldn't have put so much effort into looking for her. And the way that they showed this is by his clothes being a bit dirty and ruffled up, and obviously it's damp from the rain, even though he has the umbrella. Now, this scene stirs up the emotion of happiness within Rizu. And as she's on like this higher sort of perch / cliff type of thing, she tries to get down and it shows another characteristic of this character. And this characteristic is her clumsiness. As she gets down, she slips, resulting in a kiss between the two of them as she's falling. So the first half of the episode basically ends there. So the first half of the episode in terms of character development for Rizu Ogata was actually fantastic. The way they showed her trying to get a grip on her emotions in order to understand them better, it fitted the title of the show well and kept to its main focus. Now in the second half of the episode, they carry on with this slightly, because yes, it's more focused on comedy and fan service, but it's still a continuation of the first half. Because as a result of those two going outside without permission, their punishment is to wash the girls' bathrooms. But this gives us some time for the two characters to talk it out and understand what transpired in the first half of this episode. Ogata doesn't actually explain everything because she still doesn't fully understand, but the two do build a bridge to kind of make it so they can at least talk to each other and look each other in the eye again. Now the clumsiness comes in and the comedy starts, and so does the fan service. So it turns out that Rizu was meant to put up the sign saying cleaning, come back later. But instead of hanging it up outside, she hangs it on herself, which, don't get me started about how weird that is already, and how silly that is, but hey, she's a mathematical genius. She's not a genius at common sense, I suppose. So we have all the girls outside getting changed and ready to go in. Yuiga has to hide for his life, so he jumps into the sauna underneath the benches. While Rizu Ogata tries horribly to get the girls to get away, which results in the three main girls, Fumino, Ogata, and Tomoko, basically having a competition to see who can handle the heat in the sauna better. Now obviously Yuiga wins this because he's hiding under the bench, and Tomoko bails first, and then Sekijo comes in and saves the day by getting the other two to leave. But because of this, Yuiga now owes Sekijo a favour. What this is, we have no idea. It'll probably come up later on, and if you read the manga, you know that it kind of does. But Sekijo in this episode was kind of the main prop to she was kind of like the MVP. Because not only does she save Yuiga in this sticky situation, which Yuiga was at his limit for the heat. And saunas are no pushover. You can either handle the heat, or you can't. And if you're on the floor, that's going to burn you quite severely. I don't see how Yuiga got out there without any burn marks on him, but oh well. But yeah, basically, Sekijo also was the one who told Yuiga that we don't have any phones. And, you know, she basically is worried about her friend, which kind of does, make Yuiga go and search for her. Because without her stating that she hasn't seen Rizu, Yuiga would never have thought to go out. So we gotta give Sekijo some props, and it does help the character a little bit in terms of adding more value to her character and cementing that she is kind of friends / rivals with Ogata herself. So do you think that the comedy and the awkward situations end there? But nope, they had to take it another step further. Yuiga tries to sneak out while all the other girls are distracted, but then he bumps into Tomoko. The two exchange some weird faces and looks. After the towel drops, we don't see anything, so don't have your hopes up for that. But our main protagonist is safe, as Tomoko thinks she's just hallucinating, and walks off very awkwardly. The episode ends with a meeting between Yuiga and Miss Kirisu. And Yuiga is claiming to be doing his best with teaching the girls, and Miss Kirisu's reaction was quite funny, because she states so was kissing Rizu Ogata part of your best. And to a point I can understand this, but it just kind of raised a bit of a creepiness vibe. Because how would she know that? Could she have seen them from the building in where they were staying in and studying in? Or was she out in the rain looking for Rizu Ogata herself because she genuinely cares about the students? Now, the reason why I say that is because we're told that Miss Kirisu is quite a cold character, and this comes from Fumino, so it must be serious. Because Fumino's character is someone who's quite jolly, quite happy, and quite often able to friend anybody. But saying that Miss Kirisu is cold, from her point of view, is saying something. So if we've got this whole vibe of Miss Kirisu looking for a student who is out in the rain, because she's worried, then that might save Miss Kirisu's character. But we don't know as to why she knows. At the moment, we just kind of have this awkward situation between Yuiga and Miss Kirisu herself. Now, obviously, if you read the manga, you know Miss Kirisu's backstory, and you know the development that she has. But I wish in the anime, they get to that soon. And maybe within the next couple of episodes, they might do that. Because I feel like from this little clip at the end of the episode, Miss Kirisu's character might get a bit of backlash for being the way she is, because we just haven't been told from an anime point of view why that is yet. Okay, so overall this episode was brilliant because it was a lot better and a big improvement on the last episode. The main issue I had with the last episode, it was loads of stories bundled into one. But this story was two kind of stories merged together because they followed each other. They were a continuation and they had a main focus. And it showed that they had a main focus to focus on. And that basically just made the episode flow a lot nicer. Animation was pretty good and the music was very nice and the sound effects were cool. So overall, this episode for me was a massive improvement on last week's. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I'm excited to see what's happening next. So if you're excited to see what happens next and you've enjoyed this review, smash that like button. Let me know in the comment section anything you want about this episode. Did you enjoy it? Do you have any feedback for my reviews that I do? Anything you like. But with that out of the way, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I hope you will have an amazing day. And keep it anime. Bye.